everyone. Welcome to Slogan's Rock and Metal Extravaganza. This is our finale for our Triumph series, Triumphant Catalogue. So we're going to be discussing the final two albums. We got Surveillance and Edge of Excess. Oh, might want to Edge of Excess. There you go.
Ooh, vinyl.
And you got the vinyl out. You got your CD, right? You said you got it?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Nice.
I have some CDs to show at the end.
Perfect.
Awesome.
All right. So, yeah, as usual, nice. The guest always gets to go first. So, Davey, start off with Surveillance, how you got into this album, when you maybe first heard it.
I was working at my first record store job, and I special ordered it for myself on vinyl.
Okay.
We may have carried one copy on vinyl and cassette. I don't remember exactly, but I know I got it at my first record store job, Take One Video and Records, because we were a video store and then we became a record store. So on Wikipedia, it says this record came out November 87, but I found a lot of other sources that said it came out July 27th of 1987. It's the last studio record with Rick Emmett, recorded at Metalworks in Ontario, Canada. I'll leave the charts for Mr. Logan. It's a 12-song record with a couple of quick instrumental interludes. It starts off with one of them called Prologue Into the Forever, which is a minute long, and it's just an excuse for Mr. Rick Emmett to have a little bit of a guitar solo over a bed of synths. And the thing about this record, there's synthesizers all over it. And even though Mike Levine is credited as playing keyboards and synthesizers, they got a lot of other people to do it. There's a lot of extra background vocalists. And if you have Emmett in the band and Gilmour in the band, why do you need... Oh, okay. It was recorded in July, released in November. I have recorded February to July, but okay, yeah. It was released in November. So I got it when it came out in November of 87. They did a brief tour in 88, very few dates because there was such friction between the guys in the band. So track 1 leads into track 2, Never Say Never, which is sung by Rick. And they made a video for it, this expensive video that really never got shown anywhere. It's a whole concept video. You see the character from the album cover on it. You see the band in the video. It's catchy. Yep, there it is. Catchy, accessible hard rock song. Nice vocals from Rick. Cool guitar solo at the halfway mark into an uplifting middle 8 bridge section. And Rick hits some soaring super high vocal notes towards the end of the song. I like it. It's really good. It's not super amazing, but it's a very good song. Then we come to one of my favorite songs, track 3 with Gil vocals, Headed for Nowhere. And this is a 6-minute song. And this is a Dave fave I wrote in my notes. Rick Sanders co-wrote the song with Emmett, Levine, and Moore. And is Rick Emmett even playing on this song? Because lead guitars, electric lead guitar in the credit, is Steve Morse, who was with Kansas at the time. And then he went on to play with Deep Purple. Of course, Steve Morse is just a journeyman guitar player and an amazing guitar player, but I won't go through all his credits. I wrote down, are all the Rick sung songs all Rick and session men? And are the Gil sung tracks all Gil, Mike, and sidemen without Rick? I don't even know because they were at loggerheads on this record. Yeah. And unfortunately, sadly, Gil's father had passed away. So as an only child, he was really hit hard by the news that his father had died. And he was a businessman, and he helped the band with decisions, and then he was no longer there, Gil's father. So Gil only has 4 vocal credits on this album, and Rick has 6, and then there are a quick 2 instrumentals. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, exactly. Because they were at loggerheads, and probably Gil, because he was in that headspace, just didn't even want to make a record. He probably didn't write that much for the album, didn't sing that much for the album. And there's a lot of programmed drums on this album, which you guys said last week, and you ruined my childhood because I never knew there were programmed drums. And it's on most of this album, and it's even on Sport of Kings a little. The good news about the following album, we're going to do real drums. Hooray, they're back on the follow-up album on Edge of Excess, but we'll get to that in a little while. But Headed for Nowhere, I think, is a great song. And I was thinking about this record now that there's all these programmed drums, and does Rick play on Gil songs? Does Gil play on Rick songs? This is reminds me of the Yes Union album, where there's two separate camps. And in Rick's autobiography here on page 96, I told you guys before, I'll just paraphrase it now. He actually says that there were troubled times and the band was hardly even in the studio together, which to me means that Rick did his tracks with a lot of sidemen on it, sort of like on Union, where the West Coast Yes, and then there was the Anderson, Buford, Wakeman, Howe factor. So I think there was a big separation in the band. But Headed for Nowhere, I think, is a great song. It's an excellent hard rock song, intense Steve Morse guitar solo, and great playing by Mike and Gil. Hopefully it's Gil playing drums. I wrote, or is that a drum programming? There's a guy in the credits, his name, if I'm pronouncing the last name right, Greg Loates, Loates. And he is credited with, let me get my other page of notes, percussion programming effects. So he might be programming all the drums on all the Rick Emmett songs. But at any rate, I still love the song Headed for Nowhere. I think that's a great song. Then we go into a slightly less than 2-minute acoustic song, All the King's Horses, and Steve Morse plays acoustic guitar on here. And I think he's doing the lead part, and there are some rhythm sections. It could be Morse or it could be Rick, and Rick's singing. And he has that thing with his voice that Emmett does that I love so much, where he starts a little low, he goes really high, and then comes back down. So it's a nice vocal on this. I wrote down a pretty brief acoustic guitar ditty. So I like this one. I just wish it were a little longer. Then we go into the Rick Emmett sung song, Carry on the Flame, an upbeat rocker carrying, see what I did there? That upbeat, positive Triumph message, which I always loved personally. Some nice Rick solos throughout this song. About 2/3 of the way through, it breaks down and reverts to the whole acoustic part in All the King's Horses. And then it goes back to, it's over a synthy background that Rick is singing the lines from All the King's Horses. And then the song reverts back to its power rock ending. So Carry on the Flame is really good. Not as good as Headed for Nowhere, but I think it's a good song. And then my second favorite song on the album, End Side 1 of Logan's Vinyl, Let the Light, subtitled in parentheses, Shine on Me. We'll get to that in a minute, Byron. It's a 5.5-minute song. Rick sings it. There's a synthy intro with keys all over the verses. And you hear some guitar, but it's kind of low in the mix. And Rick's doing a bit of a rhythm guitar as he's singing for this part. The guitars kick in with some power chords through the chorus. A lot of background vocals that are Rick and these other guys who sing background vocals on the record. I don't think Gil is on this song at all vocally. Excellent Rick lead vocals, especially on the uplifting choruses. And then it's continued on the next page. Another Dave fave. This was the first single from the record, and it reached number 61 on the Canadian RPM charts. Hey, Sydney, what does RPM stand for? I don't even know. Do you know?
Radio.
Programming something?
Sure.
I don't know.
Method. I don't know.
I'm not Canadian. I figured maybe you would
RPM
know. Logan, do you know?
I don't know. I don't know, Davey.
Okay.
Canadian Music Industry Publication.
Well, while you look it up, I'll just continue with my
Records
notes
Promotion Music.
Oh, okay. That's what it stands for. It's good to know. Thank
Revolutions.
Revolutions per minute.
Revolutions per minute. Yeah.
I wrote, Rick has some good guitar solos in the midsection, and then there's a whole vocal breakdown over those programmed drums, unfortunately. A glorious, uplifting song, despite the absence of Gil. I love when Logan does that. And I dig the dreamy, synth-laden ending, too. It has this really mellow ending. You hear a child laugh in the background. So Let the Light Shine on Me is a good song. Then we go to side 2 on the album, Long Time Gone, a little over 5 minutes. This was the second single from the album, and this is the only one that charted in America on the Billboard mainstream rock charts at number 28. And I wrote down, is it live or is it Memorex? And that's an old reference that Byron will probably get. This song may be a combination of programmed drums and real drums, but it's another good hard-rocking Rick song with some tasty Rick Emmett solos in the middle, and it fades out during a blazing solo. I wish I could hear that guitar solo more. And then we get to the controversial Rock You Down. And this was the song that made Rick decide, that's it, I'm leaving the band. He wrote the lyrics to this song and the music, and it was about teenage rebellion throughout history. And then he heard the album when it was completed, and they had rewritten his lyrics into this lusty song he wrote down. And he wasn't happy about that. He writes about it in his book, Lay It on the Line. And that just was the final straw with the band for him. And he decided he was leaving right then and there. Changed the music. They changed the lyrics. Gil sang the song. And Byron said it's a wall puncher, so he doesn't like this song. At the time, I liked it, but now to me, it hasn't aged that well. I wrote it's a decent rocker with a nice vocal from Gil, but all those extra vocalists are on it. It has those gang vocals. Good guitar solo, cool breakdown. It builds back up. I wrote down some real drums, maybe with a lot of programmed drums, and hasn't aged well as I first thought. I liked it as a kid, but now it's a little cheesy. You know, the lyrics are horrible to the song, and I would love to hear Rick's real words to the song, but it'll probably never be released that way. Track 9 is another instrumental. It's just a 1-minute interlude, another Rick solo over a bed of synths. And this time it leads into On and On, which is a little under 4 minutes Rick's vocal. It's a catchy commercial song. Why wasn't this a single, MCA? And that's all I'll say. You got Rick, you got a catchy song, it's upbeat, should have been a single. Nice Rick guitar solo on this song. It's decent, but it's not an essential song. Then you get a song by Outside Riders, track 11. Two guys named Roger Freeland and Joe Pizzullo wrote All Over Again, which is a 4-minute song. It's a ballad, and Gil sings this. Another one not released as a single. You have a ballad. You got Gil's vocals. He's sort of the leader of the band unofficially. Not released as a single by MCA. Catchy chorus, decent, not essential. And then it ends with Running in the Night. Synthy keys, programmed drum intro, which seems it's a very keyboard-dominated song to end the album with. And like the last few songs, it's okay, but it's not essential. Guitar solo is good, but it's very brief. So I don't like the way the album ends, but I think there are some great songs like Headed for Nowhere. I like Long Time Gone. And of course, Let the Light Shine on Me. So I think it's a good record, but the fact that all these years later, I realized the drums are programmed. It just hurts the album for me now. And you guys said it on last week's show, so I listened in earbuds and I said, those aren't real drums. Gil has this way of playing, and it just doesn't sound like him on a lot of these songs. So it's taken my love for this album down a little. In fact, I changed my ranking. We're still doing a ranking at the end, right?
Yep.
Cool. So I wrote down my ranking from my old video on YouTube from a year plus ago, whatever. But I'm going to have to flip some albums around now because I'm disappointed that the band wasn't really together. It was the original band. The three guys were ending. A lot of fraught sessions. They weren't in the studio together, and a lot of programmed drums just takes this down a little for me. Back in the day, I would have ranked it higher, but I think I'm going to have to give it an 8.
That's still a pretty high number.
I still like it. There's still some great songs on it. It's just that you guys broke my heart with the programmed drums.
Wow.
Wow. Rock You Down ruined them.
Wow, you're being kinder than I'm gonna be, so we'll get to that. Logan's so
and
8.
Then we'll get to Edge of Excess too, and I'll tell you what I think about that album.
All right.
Uh-oh.
I might have to kick you off, but no, I'm kidding. Don't be dissing my friend Phil, okay?
Hey, he's a good guitar player, but we'll get to it.
Yeah. All right, Logan.
All right.
Logan's a little under the weather, so excuse him if he starts coughing and getting me and Davey sick through the internet.
If I fall over, you know what happened. So,
Fall
I want to mention the charts here, like Davey said, reached number 35 on Canada's album charts and number 82 on the Billboard 200, and it got the gold certification in Canada, and I don't think it certified anywhere else. And I wrote down it's got plenty of, well, I guess not plenty of outside songwriters, but backing musicians. There's quite a few on this record.
Too many.
Yes. For a power trio, this, yeah. You don't see Rush using a bunch of people like that. But, yeah. I think I read Mike Levine said this album was kind of a contractual obligation. And, you know, Rick was like me and like we were talking about, he was ready to go by this point. So, yeah, I'll get into the tracks then. I just put Into the Forever and Never Say Never together because pretty much is, you know, one song.
Yeah, that's how it is in the video. I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
The video for Never Say Never, it has the intro in the video, and then it cuts down the length of Never Say Never.
That was the only video too they made for this, right? Okay.
Yeah. There's no Rock You Down video. Thank you.
What?
Can you imagine?
It's catchy though. That song is catchy, but it's cheesy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boys Night Out.
We'll get there. We open this album up with a guitar piece with some keyboard work backing up, which hits right into the single. This was a single, wasn't it, or no?
Yes.
Okay.
It had the video, so it would have probably been the single.
Yeah. It's got a great rocking riff backed up with some nice, I hear some acoustic guitar work before Rick starts his vocal. And it's lyrically another one of Triumph's Believe in Yourself style tunes, which, you know, is one of the reasons I love Triumph. You know, they all have that kind of plenty of songs like that. Yeah, it's got a catchy chorus. I mentioned the song did have a music video featuring the guy from the album artwork in the futuristic sci-fi kind of world. It's got some great lead breaks in the bridge section of the song before the chorus returns with Rick's high falsetto vocals and some more lead lines to fade this one out. So it's a strong start to the album. Exactly. They should have played it. That would have been funny. But yeah, then we get to Headed for Nowhere, which starts, sounds like a vehicle passing by, kind of like a big semi or something. It's got a nice, energetic rock riff starts up, and Gil starts up his first vocal on the album. And I'm going to say it right now, this is the only Gil song I like on this record. So, there's that. Another hooky chorus in this tune with some interesting changes. Maybe so. I like the layered keyboard work in the, you know, in that section of the song. Steve Morris guests on this track, like we talked about. And I don't know, because we talked about this. It sounds like they're trading off to me, but maybe they're not. I mean, that middle section kind of sounds like Rick or Steve, you know, kind of going back and forth, but maybe they're not.
It doesn't sound like one guitar player. You're right. It just does sound like two people.
Yep.
But which Rick is it?
Maybe
Rick
it's all
Emmett
three.
or Rick
Like I said,
Sanders?
it could be all three, right? Maybe it's all three of them playing. So
The Triumph Guitar Army.
Yeah. Then we get that high crescendo hit back into that main riff of the song. I mentioned Rick Sanders on here. Toured with the band on Sport of Kings, correct? Gets a co-writing credit on this tune. Song ends with about a minute of some awesome jamming guitar work. And I personally like this tune better than any of Gil's songs on Sport of Kings. I think this is kind of blows them songs out of the water to me, but I don't. You
they
guys
toured for it, but they were just kind of going through the motions. Rick was already
half a dozen shows. It was to recoup money.
Yeah.
Rick says in his book.
Rick was going to leave at the end of the tour. They knew that, and that's what caused even the bigger feud. He did the shows, and they didn't pay him. Gil and Mike didn't pay Rick Emmett for any of those shows. So of course they went 20 years without talking. And sadly, but yeah.
Yeah, well, at least they came to their senses and got back together, because a lot of these bands don't do that. So
well, I know I read in Rick's book what happened. Rick's brother was dying of cancer, and he said, "What I want you to do, I want you to mend fences, and I'd love to see Triumph get back together." So he did it. He let his feelings go, and he got back together with the band because his brother had cancer, unfortunately.
I was reading that
Yeah, he was originally pissed off that his brother told him, like, "Don't put this on me." But then eventually he was just like, "Oh, you know what? My brother's right. Like, it's been too long.
It's 20 years. I have to let it go.
We were
This is my
younger.
own
We were
personal
stupid.
health.
We made those decisions. It's like whatever. It's
Yep. Yeah, I'll get into all of the King's Horses here. Little acoustic piece of the album with Steve Morse playing the guitar lines on this short tune. Like Rick's vocals on here. Just set up the siege into the next track, kind of. Carry on the Flame. It's got which Carry on the Flame has a nice heavy 4 on the floor bass groove to kick the song off. A lot of keyboard flourishes behind it. Kind of reminiscent of Never Say Never. It's got that kind of positivity message and stuff. Like the middle break with some intricate guitar parts, which bleeds into some more keyboard and guitar lines. Sounds like they're dueling together. I wrote down Rick's solo on this tune. It's kind of a little buried in the mix, kind of seems like, behind some of the drums and bass. It seems like it's a little bit backed up, but and then the song breaks into a news report. And I was gonna write down who that guy was. I don't remember who it was off the top of my head. The guy saying the news report. I know it was somebody famous, but I don't remember.
I got his name. John Roberts.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and then it goes back. I like how it goes back into all the King's Horses section, and then back into Carry on the Flame. Track ends with a nice fade out solo and some more Rick soaring vocals. So far so good on this record to me, but unlike Davey here, Let the Light Shine on Me. This one kind of, yeah. Get your candles out. Yeah. But it's got some nice keyboard work, nice Paul muted guitar line, which segues into Rick's vocal. And I said very different compared to any Triumph songs before this. I really think it's kind of an outlier. And I wrote down here, I didn't know this until we came on here. I can't see the other guys really wanting to do this track too much. Sounds like a Rick solo idea, which makes sense now. It's not bad as a pop song. I just feel like it's an outlier on the side of the album. I like Rick's solo. Yeah. I knew it was Fox News or CNN or something. But yeah, Rick delivers a great melodic solo still, as always. Really like the playing of the high notes, then the solo out. And I said, like Davey did, the song fades on some keyboard notes and some guitar harmonics. Sound of children laughing, which brings the side to a close. It's not a bad track, but it's probably my least favorite on the side, personally. But yeah, and then we flip the record over, or don't do that if you're a CD person. If you're a normal person nowadays.
Can I flip it over out the window? No, I'm kidding.
Get Long Time Gone. Got some synth lines, which breaks into a slower tempo Rick song with a heavy riff breaking in about a minute in. I really think the change in dynamics on this track is key to the song, with the verses being more quiet and the chorus crashing in kind of every time. Got a nice lead break, which dives into the big 1980s Mutt Lange sounding production here, with the whoa. Yeah. Well, wait till we get to the last two tracks, Byron. I don't agree with you with that. But yeah, it has a nice. I said that. Kind of sounds like an octave change towards the end of it. Nice solo to end the song out. And then I wrote down another different kind of track for Triumph. Then we get to everybody's favorite, Rock You Down.
I just wanna rock you. No.
I wanna rock you.
Yeah, I said this is what I wrote down. We get another Gill song here, trying way too hard to be a Gill song.
Even though it's a Rick song, apparently.
Yeah, I didn't know that until we were talking.
I didn't know that until Davey mentioned that.
Yeah, I like the main riff of the song, but I'm about to fall out of my chair. Something about this one doesn't really sit right with me. Kind of seems a little phoned in, which I guess it makes sense now that we've talked about it. I like the little instrumental break with Rick's solo. Best chorus ever written. Yeah, it's a nice breakdown section after. I wrote down it's an okay track. Then we get another prelude tune.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know, Byron. Maybe. We get the Waking Dream, which another short instrumental piece. One relying heavily on synth and acoustic and electric guitars. I'm sure this one's all Rick. I don't really know, but just another segue track really to On and On. And yeah, I agree with Davey. I think this one could have been a single, and maybe if they would have put it on the first side, I could have seen it doing a little bit better. I mean, you got it buried. What is this, track 10?
It's just kind of there, like yeah,
yeah. Yeah, it starts off all slower, builds up to a more mid-paced tempo. Got a nice catchy chorus. Reminds me of something that would have been on Sport of Kings, kind of. It's got a really cool unison lead solo as well, I said. And I've mentioned the outside songwriters here. I give Triumph credit because while they did use outside songwriters, they didn't use them nearly as much as some of their contemporaries did during this time period, personally. Yep. Because, what, Aerosmith and Kiss and all them bands really kind of relied on that for that time period. And that's always kind of been a pet peeve of mine. Like, the band's not writing the songs. It's like, I don't know.
Is it really the band? Yeah.
Yeah. We get All Over Again.
Johnny Metal.
Johnny Metal. We get Gil singing a ballad again, like the album previous. Not written by him. Instead by two guys named Roger Freeland and Joe Pizzullo, which, like Sydney said, are probably fake names.
They're Davey's neighbors.
Maybe so. Never know, Davey. You might live by the guy who wrote All Over Again.
Ooh.
Yeah, wow.
Fake Italian name.
Joe Pizzullo.
Pizzullo. Like, it's probably got a pizza place down the street.
So I said this one.
New York, so great pizza here.
So I said this one's not much in Rick or Gil's wheelhouse at all, really. Song kind of sticks out on this album and not in a good way to me. Noticing they throw a lot of ballads on the second side of this album, kind of. Maybe they should have spaced them out a little bit more. And I always say you never end your album with a ballad. That's, I don't know, just feels like the wrong thing to do, I wrote down I have a strange relationship with Mr. Moore sometimes because on the previous album, he sung Just One Night, and I really like that song. I don't know. But this one doesn't do much for me. Maybe it was just a stronger song, That probably matters, Yeah, exactly. That probably matters though. Just a stronger song, Just One Night compared to this. But then we get then we get Running in the Night, which is another ballad. A lot of sense in this tune. It's got a pretty nice rocking chorus, I guess. I like this tune better than the previous ballad, at least. This one has some more up-tempo bits. And I like Rick's solo here. But like I said, again, ending the album on a ballad is a big no-no for me. Got to leave the audience rocking is what I said. So maybe they should have put Rock You Down here. I don't know.
Oh, God, no. Can you imagine? Into the Forever.
But, I said I really think this album's front-loaded. Yeah. White Lion, Johnny.
That's a great ballad, though.
Yeah, Vito Bravo's on the milk carton, though. Where'd that guy go?
That's like a heavy ballad in a way, because the guitar is more, I don't know.
Yeah. I kind of think this album's front-loaded, though. Maybe if they spread out the ballads a little more in the track listing, it might have helped the record a little more overall. I still think there's some solid AOR-style rock on this album, if you're into that sort of thing. Yep. And if you're not, I can see this album being sort of a letdown because it isn't Triumph of old, for sure. Which isn't necessarily a good or bad thing. It just really depends on, how you feel about it. Certain tracks are definitely better than others, I said. And I gave this record a 6.5 out of 10.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I'm a little more harsh on it, but I still think there's some good moments on it.
That's not harsh.
Yeah.
Now, Sydney's going to give it a 4.
He's going to
go. Well, Logan knows what I'm giving it. I already told him so.
Uh-oh.
We just closed that information already.
So this is going to be difficult for me to discuss this. I probably listened to this like 3 or 4 times before doing this episode, and I've already forgotten how most of the songs go. So it's very unmemorable for me. So yeah, the intro thing, it's a cool little intro. Again, it kind of reminds me of the Never Surrender one. What was that called? It was also Prologue, the Recession or something?
Procession.
Procession, that's right.
Yeah.
Kind of has that sort of feel to it. And then it goes into Never Say Never. It's okay, like pop song. Video's cheesy with Rick's big poofy hair and the striped pants. And they're all having fun in the video. Meanwhile, they were probably not even talking to each other. So it's kind of a weird thing to see that video because you're thinking, oh, these guys are happy and go lucky and all friendly and they must love each other. And it's like, nope. That video probably took forever to film and they probably were just, I don't know. I don't know if that's mentioned in the book at all. If he ever gets into that, no. But then, yeah, we go into, so it starts off okay. Like it's a decent song. Not, the chorus is memorable, but that's pretty much the only thing I really remember about that song is the video and the chorus. And then you get to Headed for Nowhere. Yeah, this is like classic Triumph to me. And again, who's on this? Is it Sanders or is it Emmett? Which Rick is on this? Here's the game. Which Rick plays on this song?
The world will never know.
Yeah. But like that would make sense because Rick Sanders, that does actually have a very similar sound to his solo material. And he's a great guitar player. So I think that's the standout on this. It sticks out so much on this album compared to everything else that's on this. Like it's just a great high energy song. And yeah, this is a top Triumph song for me, this song. Headed for Nowhere is great. So I hear this, I'm just like, okay, now we're getting back to the Triumph I love. And then it gets to All the King's Horses. Rick always does the little acoustic things, but like you said, Steve Morse is playing the acoustic on here. You said you can hear a little rhythm. I don't know if that's Rick. There's no real credits or information other than Rick Sanders wrote Headed for Nowhere, or co-wrote Headed for Nowhere. He helped write the song, which is probably why it's the best song on the. He's a great song. I love the Sanders solo stuff. That's another show for another day. But yeah, he's a great musician. But yeah, that was great. And then yeah, All the King's Horses. I don't want to hear Rick singing about Humpty Dumpty and All the King's Horses couldn't put. Oh, I don't know. The whole All the King's Horses line, I just find it a little bit on the cheesy side. I don't know. Like All the King's Horses couldn't put this band back together again, apparently.
Touche.
There you go. But then it goes into Carry on the Flame, which I don't mind. Decent, okay, like pop-ish rock song, some good leads, but then it goes back to the All the King's Horses thing, which I don't actually like. I know you like kind of how it goes back to that, but I don't kind of like how it ends on that. It's like, okay, I just heard that. Davy's rage is building. It's gonna turn into the Hulk. Keep your shirt on. And then yeah, Let the Light Shine on Me next. No, because it's just like it has that sing-along chorus, right? Like those, I don't know, it's too sing-along. I just picture 50 million people at like at the end of like some cheesy comedy and everybody's singing it. I don't know. It's
It's uplifting. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's a happy song.
Maybe it's me. I don't like happy music. I don't know. I like to be depressed.
Play grunge.
I like being miserable. Yeah, just play Nirvana all day. No.
Yeah, stare at your shoes and play power chords.
Stare at your shoes. Long Time Gone. Yeah, just kind of another. Too much of those whoa chanting vocals. Sorry, those chanting choruses and the vocals, and then yeah, we get to everybody's favorite song, "Rock You Down," with the great lyrics. It's Shakespeare, basically. Yeah, come on, girl, make up your mind. Your body's talking, and I'm on the line.
Oh dear.
What does that mean? Then he wants to rock you down. What I will give this, there's one part of the song I actually really like. I'm like, oh, this is right before the solo where he says, "Don't hesitate, you'll only pay the price. Live for the moment, don't think twice." That part's really cool right before the solo. It's like the only part of the song that has that. It's like this really cool part of the song. But then, like, again, it ends with, and then it goes into this weird kind of like, I wouldn't really call it disco, but like that whole, yeah, let's talk about it. It's like, no, let's not.
But that disco riffing type.
Yeah, like come on, it was just cheesy, so cheesy. And then yeah, then just the whole. There's, I think I counted like 9 background vocalists on that song or something. Totally ridiculous.
I think it's 6 on the record. Five or six guys.
Five or six. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's a ridiculous amount of people. You need that many background. It just comes off as a little bit annoying. And just, to me, this could have been on Hysteria, that song.
Six. I got six total on the record credited.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's not the greatest. The guitar is okay. The main riff is fine, but it's just once you get to the chorus, it's like, oh boy, what happened here? You had a good song going, then you get to the chorus, right? It's just kind of like.
Well, Rick said it was his song, and they changed it.
Even if you put aside just the cheesy lyrical words, just the way it's performed to me is what makes it cheesy. Not even necessarily the lyrics. It's just the whole chanting. And then we get to like another little intro thing, preload, the waking dream, which goes into on and on. I can take that song, take it or leave it. It's catchy, but yeah, I think that on and on should have been like a huge hit for them. Like it's the type of music that was huge in around '87. Why this wasn't like a big radio hit on every radio station, whether I like it or not, it has that sound. That whole catchy chorus should have been a huge song. So many songs like this. Problem is, I guess maybe it sounds like so many other songs that were on the radio. It's just like, oh, this is just another pop song, right? I don't know. But yeah, it's huge what was on the radio. But yeah, that should have been huge. All Over Again just puts me to sleep. The Gil ballad. And I like Gil's voice on ballads sometimes, but that song, I can't even think for the life of me how it goes. It's just, I heard that. I'm like, what am I listening? That borders on easy listening. I could see Celine Dion doing that song. It's just very, I don't know, All Over Again. That's a rough one for me. And then Running in the Night again. I kind of have a hard time remembering really how that goes. It's just very forgettable to me. Just
a lot of keyboards.
Yeah, just I don't mind. I love Deep Purple, and there's loads of keyboards, but I guess it's how you use it, right? This is just kind of truth is Sydney loves this album. Yeah, no. So, oh boy, yeah, I love Headed for Nowhere. I kind of like Never Say Never a little, Carry on the Flame. I probably don't ever need to go listen to them, but I want to listen to Surveillance All Over Again, on and on. And I'll be running in the night and rocking you down.
Brace yourself, Davey. It's coming. Brace yourself.
Yeah, so because of that, like Headed for Nowhere bumps it up a little bit. If Headed for Nowhere didn't exist, it would be a 1. Because Headed for Nowhere is on there, I'm giving it a 2.
A 2? Holy cow.
Yeah.
I was thinking 3 or 4.
Give your favorite band, and a 2 is, I know, but I think, like I said, even Rick has talked about this. It's not even Triumph. It's Triumph in name only. It's all these outside people. We were just going through the motions. But
I said, I mean,
all played and executed. Like you can't say they're not playing. Their playing's not. Well, it's just the songs don't do it for me. It's not.
And
there.
you're a hard rock guy, so this stuff doesn't appeal to you.
I mean, I do like I love stuff like Journey. So
yeah.
It's just, but yeah, it's just this to me, the song, the Journey, those 80s Journey albums, some of it could be poppy, but the melodies are great. The songs are memorable. There's just, to me, there's nothing memorable on here. Gil and no, they don't want a 10. I don't think they would even get mad at me if I told them that I get ranked it so low, honestly. Like he said, Mike Levine called it like a contractual obligation album if you've ever heard one. I don't think either of them. Yep. I'm surprised that they even reissued it, but they went and reissued all the Triumph albums themselves. So it's like, well, we're not just going to leave off the one that sucks because we don't like it. But yeah, it's like they went and reissued everything. So Rick is on.
No super deluxe. No super deluxe edition of Surveillance.
Yeah, 10-minute version of All Over Again.
No, I'd like to hear the original "Rock You Down" with Rick's lyrics.
With Rick singing. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Headed for Nowhere, single edit with the solo removed. No. But yeah, that was Mike is telling me he loves it. Oh God. Yeah, so that was a surprise.
Skip ahead a couple years here now.
Yep, a couple years. Yeah, we're jumping from 87 to 92. A pretty big jump. So yeah, 92. They
5 years.
yeah. They
That's a
released
long time.
Yeah, they released classics. Yeah, yeah. They also did that. They did another album after that, so they had to do classics. That's true.
That's the only,
Yes.
That's the only time they use that logo too, right? On classics and this.
Yeah.
I like that logo.
Let's see. That's what I'll give it. If we're ranking on album covers, it's a 10 because this is actually funny enough. This is my favorite Triumph album cover, and it's my least favorite. So it's weird. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, a cool cover. I don't know what it's supposed to. It's supposed to be like is that supposed to be like a motorcycle helmet, or I don't even really know what I'm looking at, but just to me it looks cool. I don't know. Yeah, looks pretty cool. But yeah.
But yeah, so let's go from there
to Edge of Excess, which came out in 92. I guess they got back together, but I guess obviously Rick didn't want any part of it still, so they brought in Phil X, who is somewhat like of a local legend here. Gil just threw his drumsticks at the TV. Well, he couldn't because there was no drums on the album for him to throw the sticks.
Exactly, yeah.
He would have had to throw the keyboard that played the drums. Yeah. So yeah, they brought in Phil Zenitis. I'm sure I'm butchering his last name there. Also known as Phil X, who was somewhat like of a local, I guess, legend, or kind of, he was like this hotshot young guitar player. Like everybody knew who Phil was in the Mississauga area where he grew up, and my parents have like mutual family friends of his and everything. So my dad did meet him once, and he was a really nice guy. First time meeting my dad, I had no clue who he was, and was just like talking to him, and was really friendly. So he's actually a really great guy. Yeah, like at 14, he was playing at his parents' restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah, really easygoing guy, actually. I talked to him before, like when he just got the Bon Jovi gig, and I was messaged him on Facebook, and he actually replied to me, and I was talking to him a little bit. Very friendly guy. It's kind of hard to reach him now. I was going to try to get him for this episode, but now that he's like in Bon Jovi and so sought after and really well known now, he's probably impossible to get a hold of because he probably got 50 million people messaging him. So yeah, really, really good guitar player. So yeah, if you want to get into the album, Davey, and when you heard it and what made you buy it and the songs.
Well, I was working at my second record store job at the time, so I think I got a promo of it through Victory Records. It came out actually in Canada late October of 92, in America mid-January of 93.
Yeah.
So it was a few months later. It's one of the longest, I think it's the longest Triumph album at 47.5 minutes. Came out on Virgin in Canada, Victory in America, produced by Mike Levine and Noel Golden. And Noel Golden, I have written down, he's credited on the previous album, Surveillance, on choir, chant, and chorus vocals. So that's where they got him from the Surveillance album, probably a friend of theirs. And oddly enough, besides the trio on this record, Gil, Phil, and Mike, there's some other guitar players credited.
Yep.
Well, where'd I write it down? It says Mladen Alexander, who I think is John Alexander, who was also on Surveillance as one of the vocalists, background vocalists.
He was, I think he was in some band called Von Groove.
Canadian band, I know that name.
It was
like a glam metal band.
Yeah. That's the Mladen that it actually is. It's Mladen Borozak, Canadian artist, writer, producer, also known as Mladen Alexander, Mladen Hayes, and Mladen. He went by all these weird names, but he was the singer of Von Groove. He played guitar and sang for Von Groove, which was another. Yeah.
So he plays guitar on the record.
I think, he plays a lot of guitar, or he did the songwriting. I don't know if he actually plays on it.
He co-wrote a lot of the songs.
Yeah.
Or some of the songs.
Yeah. But I think it's Phil that's actually playing it. I don't know if he's actually recorded on it though. Like he
Well,
helped write it.
plus guitar,
Yeah.
Mladen Alexander
Yeah.
and Lawrence Falcomer.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
F-A-L Falcomer on guitar.
Yeah.
So it's a 10-track record, and Gil sings every song. Even though Phil could sing and co-wrote a few of the songs, Gil sings everything. So to me, right there, it's missing the magic of Rick Emmett on this album. And a lot of the songs sound the same. There are 2 ballads that stand out because they sound different from all the other hard rock songs. And to me, it's a very well-recorded album. You can hear the instruments. It's not a bad record. It just sounds like so many other bands at this time. And it's almost too late coming out in 92. It sounds like it's from the late 80s. But the good thing is, Gil is back to playing drums, real drums on the record. A few months before the record came out in Canada, they put a song on the Hellraiser 3 film soundtrack, which came out September of 92, which was about 6 weeks before this album came out. The song Troublemaker, the second song. The first song, Child of the City, starts out with like almost a minute guitar solo from Phil X, which is a really good way to start the album, saying, look, here's our new guitar player. And he does a nice intro. 1 minute solo to the song. But the weird thing is, Child of the City was the only single released from this record, from CD, I should say. It only reached 91 on the Canadian RPM charts and number 38 on the US Billboard mainstream rock charts. No other singles from the record. And I don't think a lot of Triumph fans were going to see Hellraiser 3 just to hear the new song.
No.
But like I saw the sticker on Logan's CD, on the whatever you were showing, it said Child of the City and Troublemaker. So those were the emphasis tracks. Yep, there it is. But a lot of the songs to me just sound the same. And I was listening to it before we recorded today, before we started this. And Riding High Again, to me, sounds just like a song from Never Surrender, When the Lights Go Down. Where Gil sings that, it's
I hear it.
It sounds a lot like Riding High Again. Boys Night Out, to me, is the really bad song on the record.
Kind of.
Just like Logan, you were just on a show on Curlis Mania with Tom Curlis, and you guys spoke about the Coverdale Page album. And the song I don't like on that record, Feeling Hot, the boys are feeling hot tonight. That's what this reminds me of, Boys Night Out. To me, it's the cheesiest song on the record. Somewhere Tonight is okay, the ballad, but it just doesn't do much for me. This record doesn't stand out. It's missing Rick. It's missing the secret weapon, the special sauce. I'm sure Gil loved singing the whole album. That's probably one of his dreams, to sing every song on the record, but it's missing Rick Emmett. It's well recorded, it's well played, but I'm giving it a 5. It's a good album, but it's my least favorite in the catalog. Spoiler alert for when we do our rankings. So that's basically what I have to say about the record.
You want to give it a 2, Davey? Come on.
No, 5.
He's not that harsh.
Phil X is a good player, and he wouldn't be in Bon Jovi if he was a bad player.
No.
The guy plays a mean guitar. And Gil and Mike, they're great players, but to me, this album just doesn't hit me because there's no Rick Emmett on it. He was always my favorite in the band.
Yeah. Well, I'll get into that if you want me to start going.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I have no chart certifications to talk about here, which, 92, 93, is that really a shocker? I mean,
not even in Canada.
So
yeah,
I like this. So it was doing well. Like people were actually getting the hype about it was doing well, but then the label that was on, Victory or whatever, went bankrupt. So that was it.
Victory,
I thought it was picking up steam. Oh, well, this label's done, so it's like then there was no more promotion for the album, so it just stopped being promoted. It was like, okay.
ELP put out Black Moon on that label, and Yes put out.
Yours is different then. How come yours has a different? That's weird. It's not the original CD then. Is it like a weird re-release?
Well, mine's got Victory on it.
Yeah. There we go.
American pressing, Canadian pressing. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, I guess you got probably US pressing then, right? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yours looks cooler than mine. Mine looks like it's a prog album.
But like, why would you need to have a different label for a different country? It's just weird. Why?
Yep.
Seems like a waste of money to do that. Just print one type.
But yeah, I pretty much said all the things Davey said. I did mention it was released in '92 in Canada and early '93 in the States, which was kind of weird to me. I think it was like November or October '92 in Canada and January in '93 in the States.
Yeah, October Canada, January America.
Yep. Yeah, I'll get into the tracks then. Child of the City. This album kicks off with a big wall of guitar section for a minute, swelling and feedback and distortion, playing some bluesy, heavily distorted lines before the drums kick in onto the first track, Tune keeps a nice rhythm throughout with Gil giving a great vocal performance. I definitely say that a lot in my notes. Gil sounds great on this record to me. This tune sports a great chorus line as well and some nice clean guitar tones throughout the track. It really sets the tone for the album well. Also, the one and only track on this album to have a music video, which depicts a woman of the night, but she's a vampire. Great solo from Phil here. This one kind of reminds me of Headed for Nowhere, though, because it kind of sounds like it's split up to me. I could be wrong. But it maybe Mladen or however you say his name. I don't know.
I think it's Mladen.
Mladen.
Yeah, Mladen. Yeah, maybe he's also on this track. There's no.
Mladen played in a band with Rick later on. Like he did some stuff with him later. I guess he knew him because they're also a Toronto band. So
yeah. Track ends by going into the chorus once more. Some awesome lead work by Phil, which unfortunately does fade out. Is what I said. A pet peeve of Sydney's. We get the Troublemaker, which I think this track's like the most metal song Triumph ever did. Is what I'm gonna what I wrote down. And a nice double bass groove in between the vocal parts and the verses, before that nice energetic riff comes in. Funny we mentioned Coverdale Page. I wrote down it reminds me of Uptempo Whitesnake from around this time period, a little bit. Yep, exactly. I'm not even going to attempt to do that, especially when I'm sick. I like it. Well, this goes right with what you just said. Gil gets to screaming up on this track as well, which he hasn't done in quite a while on a studio album. And it's good to hear that again, Song has a nice lead break with Phil really showing off his talents, playing fast and melodic. I wrote down this track was also featured in Hellraiser 3, which probably explains some of the lyrical themes in this song. He's talking about hell and, the strong rocker, I think. Then we get the It's Over, which one of the ballads. Yeah, exactly. Man, it reminds me of kind of like Allied Forces, the way Allied Forces ends. Like it just stops.
Say goodbye.
Yeah. Then we get to It's Over, which one of the ballads of the album. The stronger one of the two on here for me. Got some nice acoustic work. But I think it shows why Gil was more of a rock guy than a ballad guy. It's got a nice big chorus. It's an enjoyable song, just not one of my favorites on here. Another great solo, full of hammer-ons and soaring high notes that fit the nature of the song. It's a good track. Then we get to the title track, which is their first title song in a couple years now. Isn't Never Surrender the last one? I believe.
Yeah, I think maybe the only one. Allied Forces, Rock and Roll Machine, and Never Surrender. I think that's it. No, Just a Game.
Just a Game.
Yeah. They had a couple.
Not very many, really.
No. Track starts very interesting with that circular riff into that great rock and bluesy riff, then Gil's vocals. Like I said before, tracks like this one, Gil really shines vocally, showing off his vocal to full effect. Nice build-up section. Again, that D word, dynamics. Very quiet to exploding into that fiery solo on the song with a nice stop-start part for more guitar spotlights in the 3-minute mark before we finish it off with another chorus and solos. I think it's a cool track. Yep. Me and Cindy were talking about Skid Row in this. Definitely AC/DC too. I'll get to that, Mark. We got Turn My Back on Love, which one of my favorites on the album. Started off with a nice, powerful solo into a section that reminds me of the guitar parts of like from Don Docken's solo album. There's a song called Mirror Mirror. I think he's doing that staccato kind of picking. Angus Young did that too. There you go. But the chorus of this song also brings back some lyrics from Just One Night. I don't know if you guys noticed this. He talks about I'm right about it and don't want to fight about it.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. Song breaks into a great solo section with Phil showing off his great playing style again. Like I said before, relying on the melodic and shredding style. Another standout for me. Then we get Riding High again, which kicks off the second half of the album. I think it could have been the opener, honestly. But, I get why they did Child of the City with all the, oh, look, we don't need Rick Emmett. But this song, has that kind of feel like from the earlier albums and stuff. Got a nice bluesy guitar riff. Songwriting on this whole album is definitely more straightforward rock and roll, but to me that isn't a bad thing. I think it's what Gil is perfect at, I mean, that was the yin and yang, Rick's different kind of songwriting style and Gil's more straightforward rock and roll. And I wrote down here, I hear Phil has been listening to Zakk Wylde too, because he's got some of the pitch harmonics in this song. Another great catchy chorus. Another great solo. Love Gil's scream into the solo section. Blends in nicely. I said Phil relies on the whammy bar quite heavily on the solo at the start. Love that closing refrain with the high note getting repeated. Kind of sounds like a siren a little bit. It's another winner in my book. Exactly. Then we get to Black Sheep, which now we get to the section of the album for me I'm not much a fan of. Everything up to this track really set a standard for me, maybe because by this point I'm missing that contrast between Rick and Gil. I'm not sure, We'll get some chatter from the guys before Phil takes us into a blues section to start the track out, full of hand claps. And then Gil tells the story of Joe and his acquaintance Jane. Musically, this track is reminds me of Moving On. You know how it starts with that fake crowd, and that's in the middle section of this song. They do it. Yeah, song kind of falls flat for me though. It's cool they decided to do a story type song though. I don't think they really ever did. Well, Magic Power kind of is, but it just kind of leaves me cold a little bit. And we get the Boys Night Out, which is I wrote Triumph's Kiss tune. Yeah, I think it's a nice hard rocker to slot in towards the end of the album. It's got a heavy guitar riff at the start. Has some nice moments with a pretty catchy chorus. Like how the riff stops and starts in the verses with Gil's vocals. But I did write down I feel the solo section on this tune is the best part about it. So maybe that shows not that strong of a tune. But we get Somewhere Tonight, the other ballad of the album, which this song doesn't do for much for me. Well played and well sung, just sounds middle of the road to me is what I wrote down. Give Gil a lot of credit though, because on these ballad tunes he really does sound great. You can tell he put in work for previous albums, attempts on earlier albums to do that kind of thing. And then we get Love in a Minute, which is the closer. Love the feel of the song. Really is a powerful beat behind it with a great Gil vocal. Seen someone online talking about likening this song to Brian Howe era Bad Company. Kind of has that feel. Has that heavy blues feel. Like I said before, I hear a little AC/DC in that breakdown section. But yeah, that's about all I wrote about that one. Overall with this album, I think the first half, I'm kind of the same way about both of these records. The first half to me is a lot stronger than the second.
Yeah.
But for a band that you're used to having two distinct vocals from, I think Gil holds down the fort down, fine here. But it makes you think a couple of the usual things. Maybe if they put it out a little bit earlier, maybe it would have fared a little bit better. And I don't really agree with this, but maybe what do you guys think if they released this under a different name? Would that have helped any? I know Probably. It's Gil's band, so yeah.
The Gilmore Project.
Yep. I think either way you look at it, by 93, this record wasn't going to do big numbers regardless. Still a fine showing from the guys. I gave this one a 7 out of 10. So
okay. This is what they could have called the band. Could have called the band Rickless.
Rick.
Oh boy. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, so I think it starts off strong, Child of the City. It's a really cool, like, not really a riff. He's just kind of pulling on the whammy bar. Yeah, it's a really cool opening to that song. It's a great song. I like Child of the City. Kind of a cool video. Yeah, that was the single. It was a pretty decent song. I like Child of the City. Good strong start to the album. And then you get to Troublemaker. Yeah, that's a great Triumph song. That's a top one for me. But yeah, that's a great. Anytime I put this album on, I'm just wait for that song to kick in, and it's just I could listen to that song all day. It has a Slave to the Grind era Skid Row feel to it. It's just fast and just in your face, and I can see why it was used in a horror movie. I think it was at the end credits or something in the movie. Yeah, I think I remember watching that, and it was at the very end credits. There was this first song that you hear. It's a great high energy song. Just by far probably the heaviest song they ever did. I mean, they had heavy songs on the first two albums, but this is like a different kind of heavy. This is more just, I guess, hair metal heavy. And that's not really hair metal, but like, very Skid Row like. And then we get to It's Over, which is a good ballad. This is probably going to be controversial. It's my favorite Triumph ballad. It's Over. I didn't do too many ballads, though, really, when you think about it, for the most part. There wasn't like an overabundance of what you would call. I don't really consider Hold On a ballad because it's too upbeat and
changes a lot. Yeah.
And it's 6 minutes.
Yeah. It's Over is a pretty good ballad. I love Gil's. You can tell Gil, he apparently did go like get vocal lessons. He was always trying to improve his voice. Apparently, he didn't like the sound of his own voice to begin with, so he was always trying to kind of work at it and get better. Yeah, his voice. I think out of any Triumph album, Gil's voice sounds the best on this album than any other album. Like he really went out to have that strong. You need a strong voice to pull this kind of stuff off. Can't be a crappy singer to sing this stuff. And then you get to Edge of Excess, which is a really good song, the title track. It's just a good, it's a little bit, it's funny enough, some of the stuff has like an early Bon Jovi sound to it. Maybe even like the first two albums, which is kind of a weird coincidence because Phil ended up in there. But I'm sure John Bon Jovi probably heard this. Yeah, John Bon Scott. Yeah.
John Bon Scott Soto.
John Bon Scott Soto. Yeah, that's it. That's nice. Oh yeah, he's giving it his all on the vocals. Edge of Excess, another great hard rock song. So start off strong. You got 3 rockers and a good ballad that's thrown in there, and then you go into Turn My Back on Love. I love the chorus in that song. I don't know why it should be cheesy, but I like it. I love that song. Those Troublemaker and Turn My Back on Love by far my favorites on this album, and then probably Edge of Excess. Yeah, Turn My Back on Love, just great, memorable chorus. I love that song. I'd never picked up on the Just One Night thing, which is funny because I really don't like that song. But yeah, he did actually go back to those lyrics. You're right. Yeah, wow. And then Riding High again. Now you mentioned it does have that. What's the song? Oh, why am I forgetting it?
When the lights go down.
Lights go down. Yeah, it has that whole kind of like out in the desert sort of cowboy kind of slide guitar in it. That's how it starts. But yeah, that whole melody, he probably was just rewriting When the Lights Go Down for that one, but still a really good song. I like that. This is where, like, I agree with you guys. This really album starts to tail off a little bit. Black Sheep's a good song, just not very memorable. It's okay. It's like a good just rock song. It's okay. Same with Boys Night Out. It's not a bad song. It didn't need to be 5 minutes. They keep saying the line "Boys Night Out" so many times at the fade.
Very repetitive, yeah.
Shorten it down to 3 minutes, and it's a great song. Do you really need 2 minutes of "Boys Night"? It's like, okay, we get what the song is called. It's like, yeah, I get it's the chorus, but you don't need a chorus that goes on for like half the song. It's totally ridiculous. But still not a bad song. It's just the chorus just goes on forever. Somewhere Tonight, yeah, it's an okay ballad. It's all right. Nothing special, but it's decent. Like Gil's voice sounds great on it. It's well played. Just okay song. And then yeah, Lovin' in a Minute. Even right off the beginning, it sounds like something that would have been on Razor's Edge by AC/DC. It has that sort of weird sound to it. The rest of the song, yeah, a little bit, but yeah, that part especially, the beginning. So, well, Razor's Edge was what, 90? So wouldn't
90,
be
yep.
wouldn't be that far off that 2 years later they'd be like, let's throw some little AC/DC in there. And if you watch anything that Phil does, he's mostly a covers guy. So he'll cover like all these classic songs. He's always doing AC/DC and all the classic bands. So it wouldn't be too surprising that he did that on Love in a Minute and was influenced by AC/DC there. So he's probably got thousands of influences, that guy. So yeah, overall, a pretty strong album, I think. I like it way better than Surveillance. I mean, like I said, the album kind of tails off after the 6 songs. So from song 7 to 10, it's just kind of like, okay. I'd probably give it a 7.5. Because the first half is very, very strong. It's a very long album and goes on a little bit too long, but that's mostly due to Boys Night Out being 5 minutes, but it's really a 3-minute rock song. Like, condense that down. Yeah,
I
think the light's shining in on me.
Yeah. Let the light shine on you. Yep. Well, it's over. That's it for the Triumph album rankings, or the Triumph discussion. Sorry. What we are going to do to cap this off, though, is we're going to, all 3 of us, rank our favorite Triumph albums from 10 to 1, our least favorite to our favorites. So, Davey, you want to start us off here? You don't have to go into why. You just kind of like say, oh, this one. You can say why if you want. But yeah.
Okay, I'm going to start off with number 10, Edge of Excess.
Ooh.
Number 9, Progressions of Power. Was always a disappointing record for me. It didn't strike me like Just a Game or Allied Forces.
Who is this guy? Does he have a YouTube channel?
Too much Gil and too much.
I'm just kidding.
Next up is the debut album, Triumph in the Beginning. That's my number 8.
You doing this on purpose?
No, this is my ranking. You never even watched my video.
I did watch it. I have a hard time remembering rankings.
Coming up next at number 7, Rock and Roll Machine, Faster Than You've Ever Seen.
Oh boy.
These are all good records except to me for Edge of Excess. I'm going to switch my ranking here now because of these programmed drums. I'm going off my sheet here. I'm going to put at number 5, Surveillance.
Wow.
At number 4, actually, no, I'm messing up my order. At number 6, Surveillance.
Yep.
At number 5, The Sport of Kings. And then at number 4, Never Surrender. That's my number 4 now. I've changed my ranking because of those darn programmed drums. Number 3 is the great Just a Game. I think this is their first album where they really become Triumph. Number 2 is the phenomenal Allied Forces of Rock and Roll. And then my number 1, which I couldn't find on short notice, but I know I have the CD somewhere, Thunder 7 is my particular favorite Triumph album. That's my number 1.
Awesome, baby.
Do we have any song in the same order? Any album in the same order?
We'll have to see.
I thought these are interesting, right? Everyone has different like musical tastes.
We all hear it differently.
We all love the band, right? So it's not like, it's interesting. Shows you how strong the catalog is, right? Some people are into different styles of music, but they have music that appeals to 2 different musical tastes. So.
Yep.
I like the Rick stuff. You like the Gil stuff.
I like the Rick stuff too, but yeah, we'll get into that. So.
Okay.
Logan. If you
10.
put Rock and Roll Machine at good boy. You're right so far.
I like it. Okay.
I screwed this up. I had my CD stacked from 1st to 10th. Hold on, let me switch that. Okay.
Well, yeah, that's what I tried to do this morning. I tried to be prepared a little bit. 9.
Hey, I think we just talked about those.
Yeah, we did. 8.
We talked about that one. You're just going in order of episodes.
This might be a little controversial here, guys.
Oh, don't trust me. Mine's gonna be even more controversial than you. Don't worry.
7. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Cindy, I'm sorry, buddy. 6.
Boy.
5. Trying to grab these off the floor.
Nice. Need the CDs. It's easier.
Probably is easier. 4. This is.
Oh, that's a cool version though. I like that version.
Yeah, I got the version Byron has. It's all gold and
that's neat.
Or whatever. It's
Ooh, clear
shiny.
Silver.
Shiny.
Davies number 1. Is my number 3. These last 2, this is what got me into the band. So.
Okay, well that makes sense. If they got you into the band, then yeah, they're gonna be your tops. Wow.
Got to show off that gatefold one more time, right?
The game, yeah.
The game you can't win.
I didn't know that till it was mentioned on that episode by who mentioned that. I think it was
Peter Jones.
Peter Jones, right?
It's got to be number 1 for me. I think this is a perfect record. So.
Wow.
A little basic, I know, but
that's fine. That's most people will pick that as their favorite. For the most part, that's the consensus.
That was my number 2.
Yeah, see, a lot of people pick that high. So,
I mean, 3, 2, and 1 for me could switch. I mean,
yeah. Well, here we get to the controversy. The guy who claims this is his favorite band, and this is the order I'm picking them in. You guys are gonna be like, "What? How is this your favorite band?" No, I'm kidding. I'm just joking. I just wanted to mess with Davey there. It's not that low. Are you kidding? No. Logan was just like, "Is he serious?" No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna be that low. So you probably can guess, to no surprise.
I'm gonna leave.
Surveillance, yeah.
I figured.
This is a fake out. This is my number 1. Then we go to Sport of Kings. Here's where the controversy starts. Never Surrender.
Ooh.
Notice we haven't got to Edge yet.
1 higher than me.
Logan.
Wow.
Just a game. Now we get to Edge of Excess.
Wow.
And Allied Forces. Then we get to Davies, Thunder 7. So I got it 4th, which is still, love this album. Great song. Not a bad song on it. But then these next 3 are my 3 favorite albums of all time. So they're going to be ranked 1, 2, and 3 regardless. So I guess any other discography, just in general. So they're my top 3 albums. Those are the first 3 that I heard. So 3 is Progressions of Power.
Okay.
2 is the debut, which obviously means 1 is Rock and Roll
Comfortable Machine. Yeah.
So obviously I favor the more straightforward kind of heavy rock songs, I guess, heavy rock stuff, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I still love those other albums aside from like Surveillance I'm not really fond of, but like everything else, there's good stuff on every album. But yeah, it's interesting. I have completely different rankings, but just shows you how strong the catalog is when you can have completely different rankings. So yeah, strong catalog overall. Not a really, I wouldn't say a bad album with the exception of 1 maybe in my opinion. But I mean, you guys probably think everything is pretty much good. Davey's not crazy about Edge, but man, you still gave it what, a 6?
5.
5. That's still not bad. Beats by 2 for Surveillance.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
wow.
I know.
2. Holy cow.
I know. Well, it's like
What
when you only really
do they
love
always
one
say?
song, right? It's kind of, yeah,
Music's in the ear of the beholder.
the ear of the beholder.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was probably broke the internet with that ranking. No,
Do you
no,
guys
not
have
really.
any? Do you guys have any live and greatest hits CDs to show off? Or I know Davey said something about it
I
before.
didn't bring mine out. I can
I
grab them.
didn't bring any of the live stuff, but yeah.
I have stages
Yeah,
here.
there's stages. You can't really rank that, right? It's a live album. It's
I was gonna make that my number one.
make it your number one because of Empty Inside.
Exactly.
Mind Games is the better song.
Yeah,
Yes, it
that's a
is.
good. I like Mind Games actually. That's a pretty decent song.
Yeah. But yeah, I got to get my hands on the Us Festival and the King Biscuit
have
Flower.
I've got.
Yep.
You want me to go grab them? I'll be right
Can
back.
do.
I'll go grab them.
I've got Us Festival.
I lost my slipper.
Only bad thing about it is that talking in between like Rock and Roll Machine is like,
Yeah, I don't know why they kept that on the CD release. Edit that out. I mean, you would have had to lose the music too because it would have just been a big blank space in between, so you had to leave it because that's how it was recorded. But it's kind of weird.
yeah.
I'm coming.
You could have just cut that whole solo off, really, if you wanted to, and fade it out. You could have editing. You can do it. They still could have probably edited it and somehow remixed it and just. But they just took the straight concert audio and just used that. And it's like there's a guy. They're interviewing a guy at the show. Like it's you need to use that in the audio of it. It's very odd. The best live album they had was the King Biscuit one to me. And then did you ever get those extended version CDs? They had them for like millions of different bands. I've got that as well.
I've heard of them.
Yeah.
Ooh, the catalog.
Yeah.
I think EOP did one because I have extended versions of EOP.
I've got like a Kansas one. I've got the Triumph one. It's where are we here?
Nice, Davey. Nice.
And it has a CD and a DVD. Oh no, my inner case is broken.
And Davey's already shown stages, but yeah, Us Festival. I didn't grab stages, but yeah, I got Us Festival. And I got this as well, the Swedish Rock.
Nice.
Swedish Rock Festival performance.
I have that somewhere.
And then yeah, this was the weird these extended versions. They just use like these old pictures of the bands, and then what's on here? When the lights go down.
Version. It's all live stuff on that series.
Guitarinator. Rock and Roll Machine, 2 minutes 40 seconds, and then after that, Guitarinator for 8 minutes and 40 seconds.
Do you guys have this?
No, I don't have that.
Greatest Hits remixed.
That's a 3 CD, isn't it, Davey?
Yeah.
No, it's a CD DVD.
Oh, okay.
Red and blue again.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
This has got
Yeah.
So it's got Nature's Child on it live, which is why I probably bought it because I saw that. I'm like, that's never on anything. Well, it was on King Biscuit too. I think a lot of these are just the same recordings that were on King Biscuit and other albums. I don't think these are even like different live recordings. I think they just took a bunch of live recordings from previous stuff and threw it on here, which is kind of weird.
That's through MCA, right?
Yeah, extended versions. Sony.
Wow.
Sony BMG Music. Yeah.
You know what? I forgot about this one that I didn't know.
Anti-piracy warnings on it.
This has a version of Love Hurts.
Yep. And that's what Phil.
Nazareth covered. I think Gil sings it if memory serves.
Phil's on that. That's from actually before Edge of Excess. It was going to be on Edge of Excess. It's actually Phil playing.
Okay. It's been a while since I heard it.
It's okay. It basically sounds like the Nazareth one, but with Gil on vocals. There's nothing. You can't really change that song much. Nature's Child is on here, followed by Drummer's Elbow. And it's just a drum song. This is a weird name, but yeah. So yeah, it was a fun series that we've done now.
I'm great.
10 albums.
Yeah, I'm great. I'm grateful. I'm grateful you guys. Sydney really turned me on to more Triumph than I ever knew before. So
yeah.
Yep.
Now you can say you own everything. It's crazy.
Exactly.
You go from like barely knowing a band much to owning their entire catalog. So.
Yep.
And I've been listening to them for 40 plus years. Whatever I heard on the radio, and then in '84 when I bought Thunder 7 on vinyl. Yeah. I still have my vinyl somewhere. Somebody's out there somewhere.
Oh boy. Oh, that's funny. So yeah, we're gonna be doing soon, whenever Davey schedules it. It's his channel, so he's gonna be the one doing it. He's gonna have me and Logan on his channel. I guess watching our show just kind of gave him the idea. We're gonna be
doing the top 12 tunes of Triumph.
Top 12 tunes of Triumph and 3 honorables, right? So
yes.
So yeah, I've already got my list ready to go. So it'll be interesting to see what everybody else's list. Well, everybody else is 2 people. What you and Logan's lists are gonna be.
We're all gonna have very different lists, I think.
Yes.
Well, Sydney, you'll be different from us, but Logan and I might be a little similar.
Should be a triumphant show. Yeah.
And I think I was going to shoot a date at you that early February, but we'll
talk. It'll be February 7th. Come on. Thunder 7.
Can't be. That's the day the new Dream Theater record comes out. A few days before that.
Okay. What is that? Oh, that's on a Tuesday, and that's your downtime, right?
Yeah. Tuesday the 4th, maybe, in the evening?
Oh, wait, I'm looking at January. Hold on.
The
7th is a Friday. Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's Dream Theater.
Yeah, that worked.
Tuesday is good in the early evening?
Yeah.
That good for you, Sydney?
So what day did you think?
Tuesday the 4th.
Tuesday in the evening. The evening, like, I'll be home usually by, what time? About 5, 6?
7 o'clock.
7? Okay, yeah, 7's fine. Yeah.
Good for you, Logan? 7 Eastern?
Yeah.
Yeah, it works, Davey.
There you go. 7. Yeah. Thunder 7. Thunder 7 o'clock.
It's 7 o'clock on the 4th. Okay, so we booked it on the air.
We can only do the show if it's raining and there's thunder. Otherwise, we gotta wait.
It's raining here right now in New York. So.
Yeah. February 4th then. So look out for that on Cretan Classics.
We're gonna record it because I've never done a live show. So.
Yes, I know. So you can edit out all my nonsensical comments. Yeah. Like, how could you pick that as your favorite song? No, I'm not good at that.
So that'll be on Cretan Classics. Check it out. And if I could do a quick promo for my latest video, I just did a concert memories video from when I saw Spinal Tap, the band, live in 1992. It's a short 10-minute video on my channel. So if you want to hear about Spinal Tap playing live and how I met the guys backstage after the show.
That's cool.
I met all 3 guys, and you got to hear about Harry Shearer because it's very funny.
I can imagine all 3 of them are probably pretty friendly. Yeah.
Check it out on Cretan Classics.
Awesome, David.
And thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks for coming on.
I want to give you guys a round of applause for this whole series.
Yes, thank you. Not bad for a first one, I think.
And the fact that 2 young guys love Triumph.
Oh, I'm not young, but
does my heart proud. Well, younger than me. I was Logan's age when Surveillance came out, basically. So it's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
I was born when Surveillance came out. I was born October '87. So yeah, this was pretty.
Wow.
Yeah. It was my album. They dedicated it to me.
And you gave it a 2.
And I do. Yeah. There's a show, albums I don't like of my birth year. Well, Logan has a lot to choose from.
Oh, man.
You just go through everything that's popular on the radio. Like this, and this.
2003 was a dark ages.
There you go. 2003. Oh, boy, you got a long list of stuff you could pick that you don't like. God, endless. You don't even need to know the music. Just like what's on the radio that year. This, born wrong era. I wish I was born in the 70s or 60s. So then I would have. No, I wish I was born in the 50s. So I grew up in the 70s. There you go.
The late 50s.
Late 50s. But then I might. But then I might be dead. So maybe I shouldn't learn that.
You guys know that Police song, right? Born in the 50s.
Yeah, I know it, Davey.
I'd probably have to hear it.
We were born.
Here comes Sinatra.
We were born, baby, born in those 50s. Oh, yeah. We were nifty in the 50s. rather thrifty and a little shifty.
Just don't do that to Sally and Be My Girl, Davey.
Oh,
that'd be a tough one to do.
Oh my God! Or even what's the song where everyone's like, it's a great love song. It's about stalking somebody.
Every breath you take.
Yes.
Best wedding song ever.
That's what people use it as wedding songs. It's like, do you not hear the lyrics? About stalking somebody.
Some people are dense.
Yes. And I'm not even
the program drums. So
I'm not even a lyrics guy, and I know that it's about like program. Is that how program drums are played? Like, shouldn't it be like this on the keyboard?
Well, it's not fun to do.
Would actually be fun. It would be fun
drums.
Doing this. Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah. And then also I wanted to make a little other bit of an announcement. So tomorrow as well, I gotta plug this here. Tomorrow we have Danny Alcana coming on the show. We're interviewing him. We played this is for our State to State Obscurities thing. We played the full last Sunday, I believe. Last Sunday we played Welcome to My Paradise, which was his band Alcana. It was the only album they did, and then we also played like a classical album that he did in the 90s of him just doing basically classical versions on guitar. But he also programmed all the drums, he programmed all the keyboards, he basically did everything. It's all instrumental. And something screwed up with the sound quality. I had echo cancellation off. When you're screen sharing YouTube audio, you got to have echo cancellation turned off, because for whatever reason it needs to pick up the echo, something to do with picking up the audio from YouTube. So the audio came out all messed up, so it kind of like fades in and out. So I wanted to say that just so people don't go watching that episode and thinking, oh, this was recorded like crap. Who recorded this? I don't want people to think that's how the album actually sounds. It was my fault. So I posted, you can just go listen to it anyways. It's on the playlist. So listen to it there. Don't listen to it from the episode itself, because it sounds off. And I don't want people thinking the guy recorded it sounding like that. So yeah, we're going to be having him on there tomorrow. I'm thrilled to get him on here, like to talk about his career and what happened. And yeah, so then and then Ernesto wanted me to go ahead and kind of announce this. There's no set date for this or anything, but me, Ernesto, John the Music Nut, and Todd Evans are going to be doing, not going to be a series, it's going to be a one-off show called, oh my God, he had the name for it, Build a Better Box Set. So basically pick a band. Yeah, he doesn't want me to go too much into details because he's still ironing it out. But yeah, we're going to just look out for that in the future, probably sometime also in February. So we'll be just doing like a one-off episode. So yeah, basically all gonna build our own box sets, and
cool.
There'll be more information later on. But yeah, so look out for that in the future as well. And then yeah, so what else we have upcoming as well? Then next week is another music hangout with a band called Sex, Love, and Money on Saturday. And then kind of like a 90s, I guess you could call it heavy metal. And then Sunday, the entire original lineup is joining us for an interview. That'll be, all four guys are going to be on the channel, and that'll be interesting. I've been messaging them back and forth, and yeah, so that'll be fun.
Big panel, 6 guys.
It'll be, and Tony Dio's actually, it's going to be 7, so the limit is 6, so I might just take myself off while the others are talking, because it's more about them anyways. But yeah, Tony Dio is actually going to try to join us for that, because he used to actually, coincidentally, I didn't know that when I picked this band, he's from North Carolina, and so are they, so he ran shows for them. Like, he actually has known them for 35 years, which was a complete fluke. So I reached out to Tony, and he agreed to be on there, and he could probably contribute to some stories.
Oh, he knows his stuff. I've seen him on, let's see, the Lair of the Alchemist, John Gaffney's channel. He's on that. He knows his stuff. And he's on Steve Keeler's channel.
Yeah, and he's on the listening. He was on a few listening parties, too, with Grant, too. So
yeah,
he has some good knowledge. So yeah, that'll be really fun. I'm having all four. That's going to be, yeah, I've been messaging them, and they're just really hilarious. Yeah, so that's already uploaded there, the date and the time, everything. That's all there, so you can see when it's going to be. And yeah, oh yeah, Gary, Tony's Tony's got so much knowledge. I mean, he worked firsthand with these bands, right? So he saw what went on and everything. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching. And Logan, do you want to take us out here with a little rock and roll machine on the guitar? Are you feeling it? Or I know you can play it. You sent me that clip.
I don't think it would sound good on here though.
Probably not. It might sound a little bit, yeah.
Probably sound like that Alcana.
Oh boy, yeah, probably. The quality will probably come out crappy. Yeah.
I'll sing a Sinatra.
There you go.
Rock and roll machine, faster than you've ever seen. You look like Charlie Sheen, and you're a little mean.
Oh my God.
Good
Logan's
ending.
probably too sick to do it. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, test your voice. Do the screams and Troublemaker.
I know I can't do that right now.
That's funny. Anyways, yeah, thanks everybody for watching, and this was a great series to do for everybody, and yeah, so we'll see everybody tomorrow if you're able to watch. So look forward to that. It's gonna be not much planning to do. It's just an interview. Probably just gonna let Danny talk and just go on about stories about his band and everything. So
nice.
So that'll be fun. So not much prep for tomorrow. Just have him on and just let him just talk about his career. So yeah, look forward to that tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to that. So we'll see everybody later. Hope you can join tomorrow. And thank you, Davey, for joining, and everyone else that's been on the series. Byron, Mike Ladano. Also, like thanking people at the Grammys and for worrying you're going to leave people's names out.
Tim Derling.
There you go. Thank you. Tim Derling, Mike Ladano, Johnny Metal, Tom Curlis, Ernesto, Peter Jones.
What about Webb? The
Webb, of course, Webb. Who else? Oh my God, I don't want to be. I'll miss like one person, and they'll be like, "You didn't mention me." I think that's everybody.
You said Ernesto, right?
Yes, I think I said him twice.
He's so nice. You named him twice.
He's so nice. I named him twice. I'm pretty sure I mentioned everybody. And then so thanks everybody. Just also say thanks everybody that's appeared on here, just in case I did miss somebody. So
and in the live chat too.
Yeah, and of course in the live chat, and the picks that you did for the bonus albums were also great. That was a lot of fun too. Yep. So we got some good guests on because of that, because they were willing to talk about those albums. So that was a lot of fun.
And you should let us know your Triumph album rankings and what you think of the last two records 9 and 10, Surveillance and Edge of Excess, in the comments below.
There you go. Well, record and a half, because one never came out on vinyl. I don't think they ever did a vinyl of Edge of Excess, didn't they?
Not that I've seen.
I don't think so.
Just cassette and CD, I think.
Yeah. Wow, I'm surprised there's even a cassette.
Yeah.
Ernesto probably has the 8-track. Edge of Excess 8-track. Can you imagine? He made it himself. It's not actually the music of Edge of Excess. Just put a sticker.
8-track.
Made a blank 8-track with a sticker. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you later.
Arrivederci.